Sometimes at daily mass, I don't read the gospel ahead of time, and it's the Nativity of the Virgin Mary, so it's gonna be something about Mary. I already know what I'm gonna talk about. And I walked over here and I looked and I was like, "Whoa, that's a long gospel!" And I flipped the page and there's a short form, and I was like, "Oh, it's the genealogy." So let's do it. Let's commit. Which is actually perfect because that I didn't read the gospel and I already kind of had my homily figured out. Father Bradley's got this chessboard. It's like a smart chessboard. It's electronic. It's got these little lights on it. It connects to the internet. You can play like chess against Russians, although he told me that the Russians aren't the best chess players anymore, which probably makes sense, that Americans would figure out how to do it better. And there's this like little mode on it to teach you. And so he's showing me yesterday how to play chess. I was like, I know the moves you can make, but I'm not very good at thinking multiple moves ahead, at looking at all the pieces and thinking of all the possibilities. And so there's this mode where like you touch the chess piece and the different spots where it can go light up. Most of the spots are red, meaning don't do that. There's a few like I think yellow or blue spots that say that's okay. And then there's one green spot that says that's the way to go. And it helps you to think ahead because I was kind of looking and like, oh, well, if I move, my bishop here, then, that'll take care of that thing. But I didn't think of the next move. And so it shows, no, don't move your bishop there, move your pawn and sacrifice it and then move your rook here. And it's just too complicated for me to think so far ahead on all the little pieces and all the little things. But when we look at the plan of salvation that God has, kind of thinking through all the little bits and pieces, all the moves, and then to look at the whole history, the genealogy, to look at the very beginning, right, with Abraham and God revealing himself to Abraham, slowly unfolding this understanding of who he is, and then ultimately culminating with the incarnation, with God taking on flesh, with God becoming man, becoming like us in all things but sin. And we look and we recognize that happened through the Virgin Mary, and that it was the Blessed Mother who was prepared as this fitting ark for the new covenant to enter into the world. She was prepared as this dwelling place for Christ to come among us. And so we celebrate her nativity today, the day of her birth. At Ladies' Night Jeopardy last week, that don't believe anything that you heard from that if you weren't there. I was very humble at that night, and I'm super humble. I beat Father Bradley at chess also because he set the board to make it so that it gave me like expert advice and it didn't give him. So like basically it was the computer playing against him. I was just moving the pieces to where it said they could go. It was great. Even then he was like crushed that I beat him. I'm like, well, you turn the computer on to make it so I could beat you. The question was, we celebrate this feast of the Blessed Mother on September 8th, and, people were naming like all the different feasts of Our Lady, including the Immaculate Conception, which of course is December 8th. And so December plus 9 equals September. So 9 months following the Immaculate Conception, Our Lady is born. She enters into the world without sin. She's this this creation of God who, from the power of the cross outside of time, is preserved from the stain of original sin, who is protected and made perfect and pure and inviolate and holy, so that our Lord may enter into the world through her. And so there's no account of her birth in the Gospel, so instead we hear the account of Jesus' birth, and we see that God had this special plan, and the angel had to pull Mary aside, and then of course the angel came to Joseph in a dream, only speaks to Joseph in dreams. Poor Joseph never gets to actually see the angel, but the angel says, no, this is the plan of God. This is the plan of God, and this is how God is going to come into the world, and this is how the Messiah will come to be. And the prophecy will be fulfilled because God has looked ahead at all the possible moves. God has seen and foretold what will happen. And the virgin will be with child and bear a son, and they will name him Emmanuel, which means God is with us. And all of that goes not just back to the birth of the Blessed Mother, but it goes back beyond that through the generations, all the way to God revealing himself to Abraham and beginning to show us who he is so that we may know who he is, we may better know who we are, and we may follow him. So on this feast day of the Nativity of the Blessed Mother, let us ask for her intercession that we may recognize the ways in which God is at work in our life, and that we may also trust in him and do his will as she did.